it's Natalie. Welcome to my channel. Well, for those of you that have already been subscribed, welcome back. For those of you that are new, welcome here. Hope you enjoy. Today I want to talk to you guys about labor and delivery. Where do I even start? Well, I'll just give you guys the tea, okay? Pretty much, I had my baby in the living room floor. And it was not something that I anticipated. I did not think that I was going to have my baby unmedicated without any doctors, not in a hospital facility or medical facility. That was not the plan. When I found out I was pregnant this time around, I would say oh, I want to have a water birth. Oh, I want to, have a home birth or whatever. But I am a super wimp, and I did not think that it was possible because I felt like it was going to hurt too bad. And quite frankly, I was just a little too scared to do it, but it kind of happened. Fun fact, I had my baby on my birthday. So my daughter's birthday is the same day as mine, which is exciting. So next year I'll be 30 and she'll be 1. So that's cute. But anyways, I'll get to the story time. So pretty much on the day before my birthday, the day before my birthday. So on the 20th, I went to take my graduation pictures because I just completed my 2nd master's degree, and I wanted to have some bomb pictures to have as a keepsake since I'm not walking. And so I went to take my graduation photos. I had my son with me, and it was really, really fun. It was really, really cute. I'll be posting those. Make sure you follow me on Instagram so you can see them. But anyways, so I took my graduation pictures, and we were practically done, and I was like, oh, I have a little tinge in my stomach, kind of hurts a little bit, but I didn't really think anything of it. Just because it didn't happen again, it wasn't consistent, it wasn't that bad. So I was just like, okay, it's probably Braxton Hicks. I'm 37 weeks, whatever. So then I get done with my graduation pictures. I'm driving home. I have another tinge, and I'm like, oh, that hurts. It's nothing. Go on about my day. I get home, I cook dinner, cleaning the house, eating, watching TV, doing my normal stuff. And then later on in the night, I get my son ready to go to bed, and I go and I lay down with him. And I tell my husband, it's probably around 8 o'clock, and I tell my husband, I've been having this weird thing. I don't know what it is. It hurts. I don't know if it's Braxton Hicks or if it's real labor, but it feels uncomfortable. And it's been going, by the time I said something to him about it, it's probably been 45 minutes that it was consistently happening. I wasn't recording how many times or how long it lasted or anything like that. I was just oh, this shit hurts. So he's like, well, as long as you don't go into labor, as long as your water doesn't break, you're fine. And I was like, true. So I go on about my day. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, I'm watching YouTube videos, chilling. I eventually fall asleep. So I get my son, I end up waking up. I get him up out of the bed, put him in his crib. I get up to go take the shower. And when I get out the shower, my husband's like, oh, do you want your birthday present? I'm like, no, give it to me tomorrow because my birthday's tomorrow. He was like, okay, but you got 2 hours till your birthday. And I'm like, okay, give it to me tomorrow. He does the most. So pretty much, he ends up giving me my birthday present, my Pandora bracelet, which is my first one, which I was super excited about, because I've always wanted one, but I've never went to purchase one myself. But anyway, we're exchanging gifts because this year my birthday fell on Father's Day, and also my birthday is also my wedding anniversary. So I gave him his anniversary gift, and I didn't give him his Father's Day gift till we came home from the hospital, but I gave him one of his gifts and he gave me one of mine. So after that, I kind of go back to sleep, and he wakes me up at midnight, and he's like, happy birthday, giving me kisses and stuff. And by this time, like, my stomach has been hurting for a little while, but I wasn't really paying any attention to like how long it was hurting, how consistent it was hurting. I just know that I would wake up every now and again and like unable to catch my breath because my stomach was hurting so bad. So at first I thought I had to poop or something. And I did go to the bathroom and I like pooped and I was fine. So I was like, okay, whatever. It's gonna go away. And then around 12:30, it started intensifying, like bad. So I was like, to the point where I was like having to like grip the headboard to brace myself because I was like, oh, this is painful. So he comes to lay down. It's probably like 1 o'clock and 1 o'clock in the morning. So at this point it is June 21st. And I'm just kind of like wrestling, rolling around, trying to get comfortable. And he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't know, my stomach hurts, my stomach hurts. I'm running back and forth to the bathroom because I have to poop. And I'm thinking that's what it is. And then I'm like looking online on my phone like, okay, is this active labor? Because my last pregnancy I got induced. So I don't really know what regular active labor feels like because last time I was put into labor through medication and it felt way worse than this. So I kept telling myself like, it can't be labor because it doesn't even feel as bad as last time. So I went back to sleep. Not a good idea. I go back to sleep. I wake up probably 30 minutes later and I'm like, I think I need to go to the hospital. And so he's like, what? And he's just looking at me like froze. And I'm like, it hurts. I think I might be in active labor. And so I was reading online and I read it out loud. You have to be having your contractions for like, it was like your contractions have to come every so often. So it's like every 3 to 5 minutes or something like that for an hour before you go to the hospital. And I don't know why I told myself, I was like, okay, well, we'll wait and see what happens in an hour. But this hurts. I have to see how long this happens for an hour before I go to the hospital. And he's just looking at me. And so he's like, okay. So I'm timing it. Every time I'm timing it. And I'm like, 45 seconds. It lasted 45 seconds. And then I put the timer on again and I'm waiting to see how long the next one comes. And it's like 2 minutes. And I'm like, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna make it an hour. Like, I don't think I'm gonna make it. And so finally I was just like, let's go to the hospital. So he calls his dad. I call my mom. She's asleep. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning where she lived. And I call my mom while I'm on the toilet. And she played the voicemail for me. It's so funny. You could hear me breathing. I was like, I think I'm in labor. It was so funny. And I remember at this time I was on the toilet trying to stay on the toilet because I was having a contraction, trying to breathe through it without falling off the toilet. So, Jesus. So after I use the bathroom, I get up, I'm like, we gotta go. So I'm grabbing this. We're waiting on his parents to get here. His parents don't live that far. And, not even when, because it didn't even get to a when. It was after this, I'm grabbing the car seat because we hadn't put the car seat in the truck yet. I grabbed the car seat, I threw it outside. I grabbed my bag, I threw it outside. And I have on my robe, my Zeta joggers, and my Zeta slippers that he bought me for my birthday. In a black shirt. And for some reason, I thought that I could wash the dishes between contractions. There wasn't a lot of dishes in the sink, but I just was like, I need to get those dishes washed. The house was not as clean as I wanted it to be if I was going to go into labor. So in my head, I'm like, damn, I knew I should have washed these dishes. I knew I should have cleaned this bathroom yesterday. I knew I should have did this. And that's what's going through my head. And so I waddle into the kitchen and I turn the water on and I'm washing a plate. I only got through one plate. I rinsed it, and right when I was done rinsing it, I had to drop it because I couldn't stand up anymore. My knees and everything just get so weak, and I like hit the ground, and I'm like, oh. So I'm like holding on to I'm holding onto the kitchen counter, and my knees are on the ground, and my husband comes in. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I'm like, I just wanted to wash the dishes. So he turns the water off, and I instantly feel this crazy pressure, and I get so scared because it's like in my stuff, like it's in my cooch. Like I feel everything just falling down. It was, I don't know how to explain it, y'all. I don't know how to explain it. But it was like a weird, hot something. Felt like everything was gonna explode. And I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to be pushing. I'm on all fours by this point. I'm on the floor. And I'm talking to him, and he's like, can you get into the living room? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to push right now, but I can't help it. And I get on my all fours and I press my head, like this part of my head, into the refrigerator. And all of a sudden, a gush of something all down my leg. And I was like, am I bleeding? And he's looking at me and he's like, no, you're probably wet because the floor was wet because our sink leaked. It leaks. And so the little mat that we would use to soak up all the water was what I sat on. But that's not what I felt. Like I felt something come out of my body. So I'm like, bro, I think my water just broke. Like, I don't think that I sat on no wet mat. So after that happens, I like brace myself because I'm going through a contraction while all this is happening. And I crawl myself to the living room. I stand up. I grab something. I don't even remember what I grabbed. All I know was, next thing I knew, I hit a contraction and I was like holding on to the couch, and he's on the phone calling the ambulance because he's like, I don't think you're gonna make it. Like, we need to call an ambulance. I know that you don't want me to call the ambulance, but I'm calling them. So, well, actually that happened before this. He called the ambulance before I tried to wash the dishes. So he's standing at the door and he's like waiting to see, you know, when are these people gonna show up? It feels like it's been an eternity since he's called anyone and nobody's came to the house yet. So next thing I know, hit a contraction, and then I'm like, babe, the baby's gonna come out. The baby's gonna come out. The baby's gonna come out. And he's like, huh? Turns around, looks at me, and I'm like, the baby's gonna come out. And he's like, no, it's not. You're fine. You're fine. No, I wasn't fine. The baby's head was coming out, like coming out. So I had on pants, and I was like, I did one of these because her head was coming out, like legitimately out. So I literally had her head, the crown of her head in my hand. And then I just pushed. And then I was like, the baby's out. And I'm screaming. And then I like got on my knees and I bent over on the couch, like the bottom of the couch, and she just fell out. And I had blood everywhere. On my robe, my shoes, my pants. I pulled my pants down and she rolled right on the floor. And my insides were burning really bad. Well, not my insides, but like my cooch was burning like shit. It hurt so bad. and the burning part hurt. And then I was still having contractions because my placenta was still in there. So that was terrible. So I think maybe 2 or 3 minutes after I pushed the baby out, the EMS and the fire department showed up. Fire department showed up first and then EMS. So fire department helped my husband cut the umbilical cord, and then they put me on a stretcher with EMS. They took me, and they I did not go there with, well, actually they made me put my pants right back on. It was kind of gross. So I had pants on, but like I didn't pull them all the way up. I had them like on my thighs pretty much, because the placenta and the cord from the placenta was hanging out. So they put me on a stretcher. They gave me the baby. They cleaned off the baby. They didn't really clean her off because she was a hot mess when I got her. She looked like it was gross. Anyway, I was holding the baby, got into the ambulance. They drove me to the hospital, and we got lost because the people that were the EMS people, they had never done like a delivery before. So they never took anyone to labor and delivery at UAB. So the hospital where I delivered. So they were confused as to where we was going. So we was literally, once we got to the hospital, we was literally riding around on that stretcher for like 5 minutes trying to figure out where the door was so I could get in. So anyways, I get into the room. My husband follows us. Like, he comes after me. He follows us though. He meets us at the hospital. And mind you, like during this time when they're like putting me on the stretcher and all that stuff, my husband's family does end up showing up, and they go and they get my son, because I did wake my son up by accident by screaming, and we had to just leave him in his room because we pushed the baby out. I couldn't move. So his parents went and grabbed my son, and my son is just looking at me, and he's just like, what the hell? So they're just holding him, and I'm just like, it's okay, buddy, it's okay. So once we get in the ambulance, they drive to the hospital. Like I said, we got lost once we got in the hospital, and then they finally take me to wherever I'm supposed to be, and I meet some lady. I don't know who she is. She's another doctor, but she gives me my stitches. I had to get lidocaine. I had a 2nd degree tear, which is like an average tear for a delivery. So I got 5 stitches. The stitches will dissolve, and they'll dissolve on their own in about 2-3 weeks. But that's pretty much all I did. And because I had group B strep, which is like some kind of strep bacteria in your vagina that pregnant people get, because I had that, and I did not get the antibiotic for it before I gave birth, which is their fault, because they should have just gave it to me when they tested me for it. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why they wait for people to go into labor to give it to you, but whatever. Anyway, because of that, I had to stay in the hospital an extra day, which was stupid, but I don't know. The food was trash. I wish I had like, I'm gonna put pictures in of the food. They served us some half-done salmon. Y'all, I was pissed. It was still slimy on the inside. They didn't cook it to be done. They cooked it like golden brown and did not care what the inside of it was like. The food was just nasty all around. I don't ever want to do hospital food again. But they did give me a birthday cake. That was cute. I'm gonna put pictures of the food so y'all can see what the food looked like. But when you get discharged, I think I'm gonna just let that be another video. But yeah, I got discharged. It didn't take long for me to be discharged. My baby was not in the NICU. Also, at the hospital that I was at, which really pissed me off, they tried to say that they didn't give pacifiers because it inhibits the baby's ability to breastfeed, which doesn't make any sense, because you're breastfeeding every 2 hours and the pacifier comes out when you breastfeed. The same motion that they make to breastfeed is the same thing they do to suck on a pacifier. to me, it just didn't make any sense. I don't know. And me and my husband thought we were going to get around the system by asking them to bring one of those small containers of formula, because we thought that it would have a nipple on it and we could give it to her. And they gave us a syringe instead, because they didn't have a nursery. So I had to keep her, which also meant I also didn't get any sleep and I was exhausted. So make sure you keep your pacifier in your bag when you go to the hospital, because my stupid self took it out because I just knew that they were going to give us a pacifier and they didn't. So it's time for me to pump. But yes, so make sure you keep a pacifier when you go to the hospital. But that is my story on how I delivered my baby by myself, with no meds, no doctors, and in my living room floor. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. Have I scared you half to death? If you like it, give me a good thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any new videos that I put out. And until next time, loves, I'll see you later.